What's going on, y'all? This your man Pristine, back with another video. Today I want to do a quick comparison of the LG G5 and the LG G6. Now the G5 here, we've got a 5.3 Quad HD display. We've got a Snapdragon 820. We've got 4 gigs of RAM. We've got 64 gigs of onboard storage. We've got a GPU of 530. Now, the LG G6 here, we've got a Snapdragon 821 processor with 4 gigs of RAM, with 32 gigs of onboard storage, with also a GPU of 530. Both of these phones are powerhouses. Now, there are some differences, but there are a lot of similarities. Why? Because these are two LG devices. And so LG, with their particular skin over Android, they don't really steer away from, you know, what they've done in previous devices, with the exception of, you know, some upgrades here and there. Now, there's clearly an overhaul here with the G6 versus the G5. Now, really quickly, you know, the G5 is a modular design. Okay, modular design. You can take off the bottom chin here, and you've got modularity functions. You can remove the battery. You can add LG friends that enhance the experience of the overall phone. Let's see. To the right of the phone, you've got nothing but the SIM ejector tool, or the SIM ejection tray. On the top of the phone, you got a 3.5mm headphone jack. You've got an IR blaster, noise canceling microphone. To the left of the phone, you've got the volume rocker up and down. Bottom of the phone, you've got the single firing speaker on the left side of the phone on the bottom. Type-C USB connector that supports Quick Charge 3.0, and we've got another noise canceling microphone. Now to the back of the phone, we've got the G5 branding. We've got the fingerprint sensor here that also doubles as the power button and the sleep button, and we've got the dual camera setup here, where you've got a 13 megapixel regular viewfinder setting, and you've got an 8 megapixel for wide angle lens shots. And then, you know, in the middle here, we've got a dual tone LED flash and laser autofocus. Top of the phone here in the G5, we've got a 5 megapixel selfie cam, and we've got the speaker here for listening to audio while talking on the phone and all that good stuff. Now, moving around to the hardware of the G6. The G6, we've got, now this is unique because they were able to get a 5.7 True Vision Quad HD display on a smaller footprint. These two phones are the exact same size. My tripod isn't high enough to see the top of them, but maybe you can see that right there side by side. You can see from top to bottom, they are the same size. But again, the G5, 5.3 inch display, 5.7 inch display. Why? Okay, let's talk about this. So with the G6, they got rid of the modularity aspect. So the chin right here that you see on the G5, they took that out. They completely took that out. They went with, matter of fact, here, let me change the theme so you guys can see, because it's all black. So I want you guys to be able to see this. Let me change it to the white theme, just so that you guys can see the screen. You know, we've got that beautiful 16:9 aspect ratio. All my apps are gonna pop up, and all my apps have popped up, but that's a little on the bright side here. Let me change that to the platinum theme. Make that a little darker. Now this is dope. I like how you can change the themes and it just completely, you know, changes how things look on the phone. So you'll see now, okay. So there we go. So now all my apps are popping up, but you guys can see, you know, they got rid of the big chin down here to be able to bring the screen down some more. And they also got rid of the head of the phone, or somewhat of it, you know, so they can also expand the screen. So the G5 here is a wider phone. The G6 here is a slimmer phone, just with the longer face. So they expanded the phone horizontally rather than widening the phone. So now To the right of the G6, you've also got nothing but the SIM tray. To the top of the G6, you've got 3.5 millimeter headphone jack in the same place. You've got a antenna line right there, noise canceling microphone, and you got another antenna line right there. Now to the left of the device, the G6, you've got an antenna line there, volume button up and down. The G6 on the bottom of the phone, you've got a noise canceling microphone. You've got an antenna line, Type-C connector right there that also supports Quick Charge 3.0. And now rather than having the speaker on the left side as it is on the G5, you've got it here on the right side on the bottom. Okay, and then if you take it to the back, you've got the G6 branding right there on the bottom, and we've got the robot face camera set up. Now the difference on the G6 than on the G5 is the G6, these are now dual 13 megapixel cameras. Okay, so remember on the G5 you had a 13 megapixel and you had an 8 megapixel for wide angle viewing. Okay, now with the G6 here, you've got two 13 megapixels. You've got a 13 megapixel for regular view, and you've got a 13 megapixel for wide angle view. Still here in the middle, you've got your laser autofocus and dual tone LED flash. And then right here, you've also got the home button, which is a physical button, but it's also your fingerprint sensor and your power button as well. Okay. Now, also at the top of the phone here, you got the front-facing camera. That's also a 5 megapixel shooter. You got the speaker right there for you to listen to when you're on phone calls. And then there's also an LED notification blinking light that's right there, and that's also in the same place on the G5 as well. Okay. Now, comparing these two phones, aside from the obvious cosmetic difference, there really are no differences. Okay, LG skin is what it is over Android. It hasn't changed. I'm a fan of the skin, which is why I don't change anything. I don't put Nova launcher and change the launchers. You know, I like variation. You know, I like to rock with the skins that the manufacturers decide to put on, you know, unless it's just something terrible, but I've yet to come across something that I couldn't cope with. I like LG skin, and so therefore I don't change it. But if you're coming from a G5 or hell, a G4, if you're coming from a V20, you know, a lot of this stuff is the same. You know, if you've had a previous LG device, and you upgrade to the G6 here, it's going to be very easy for you to navigate through the G6. You know, like I said, they've added some things. It's their new 2017 flagship device, so some things have to be new. You know, there's some new camera options. You know, different little things that you can do with the camera. They've got a different app that is good for Instagram photos, for all you people that love to be on Instagram and taking photos, things of that nature. Like I said, this has the Snapdragon 821 over the Snapdragon 820. We'll test it out too really quickly just to see some performance differences, just to let you guys know there's not really that big of a difference. So my question is, are the differences in the G5 or the G6 here enough to justify upgrading from the G5 or the V20 to the G6 here? You want to know my personal opinion? I don't think so. And here's why. And in no way, shape, or form am I saying that the G6 here is a bad device. I love LG. The only LG phone that I did not have was the V10. LG has always done me right. I think you guys know that if I had to choose one manufacturer to go with, it would be LG. It will be LG. But I feel like slightly with this G6, they let me down a little bit. Here's why. First, the front-facing camera on the G6 is completely suspect. It's completely suspect. Okay? When in comparison to the front-facing camera on the G5. Mind you, these are two 5 megapixel cameras. But I think where the problem is, I think LG, they had to kind of scale back on the camera a little bit for the selfies to be able to add in that wide angle option for the front camera. Before, it was just on the rear camera, but now it's on the front camera. But I've noticed that with the front camera, the screen resolution and the clarity is not as good as it is on the G5. Yesterday I took some pictures with the G5 selfie cam, and I took some pictures with the G6 selfie cam, and I went and I showed them to my wife. And I asked her, I said, pick out these pictures and tell me which camera you think I took the picture with. Okay. All the pictures that she chose, she assumed that just because the G6 was the newer camera, she assumed that those pictures were taken with the G6. But they weren't. They were actually taken with the G5. And then I went back and I showed her those same pictures that I took with the selfie cam on the G6, and she saw the difference. Okay. If you don't believe me, you can check out other reviewers who have reviewed the LG G6 and the camera, and they also will tell you that the front-facing camera on the G6, it's not bad, but it's suspect, especially in comparison to the G5. You guys have seen what the G5 can do. Okay, a lot of my videos are recorded with the G5. A lot of my thumbnails for my videos are taken with the front-facing camera on the G5. Okay. That's a downer for me for the G6. Another thing about the G6 that I'm not really too fond of, considering that it's the new 2017 flagship. The speaker. The bottom firing speaker. The bottom firing speaker on the G5, in my opinion, sound way better than the bottom firing speaker that's on the G6. When you turn up the speaker on the G5, it still sounds clear and it gets really loud, as opposed to the sound quality here on the G6. And I'm not sure if it's just because, how they decided to build the phone. Maybe they didn't have the spacing that they had in the G5, for sound. But the sound on the G6, it's not bad, but it's not as rich as it is on the G5. And it doesn't get as loud as it does on the G5. But then when you turn it up, the G5 doesn't sound distorted. The speaker on the G6, it does sound a little distorted to me. You know what I mean? So that's another negative. But, those things aren't really a big deal. Those things aren't really a big deal, depending on who you are. But I'm just stating, what my experiences are. So my big issues with the G6 when comparing it to the G5 is I've gotten completely spoiled by the G5 and its modularity design. My LG friend right here, this is a camera enhancement, my Cam Plus. When I take off this bottom piece, snap the battery to the camera, and then add this to the bottom of the phone, it really enhances the camera experience. Now, the camera on the G6, it's a great camera. The G5 is a great camera. They're both great cameras. This is just an addition. And so the reason why I'm speaking about this is because of the fact that LG decided to go mainstream, and I get it. They lost a lot of money, because of poor sales with the G5, and it basically forced them to go more of a conventional route. They had to go mainstream. They had to go Hollywood. They had to do what a lot of the other phone manufacturers are doing. Because of lack of sales with the G5, it forced them to jump on the same bandwagon as a lot of these other phones. But I'm not a fan of the bandwagon. The market is saturated with Android phones that look exactly the same, and they all do pretty much the same things. Yes, so what? They may have a different processor and they've got different feature offerings. That's cool. I mean, that's just better for the consumers, and you've got more options to choose from. But ultimately, these phones, they do the same things. You know what I mean? This is different. A lot of people slam the way the G5 looked. I love the way the G5 looks. I like that silver and black combination, on up to, what some people would consider the weird little slope here at the top. A lot of people are just fans of the same things. And I'm not. I like the fact that you can push that little button right there and the bottom comes off. I like having, the option to remove the battery. Why? Because I got a spare battery right here. This is the battery, and this is a mobile charger. So when the battery in this dies, I pop this one in and my phone is right back at 100%. And this battery starts being charged by this little dock right here. I can't use that on the G6. So I've gotten completely accustomed to, using the LG friends and using LG's modular design. And LG just completely took it away on the G6. And I guess I can understand why, but here's my thing with LG. If you innovate something and it's not really received well, don't just completely forget about the people that liked and enjoy the innovative move that you decided to make. So that when you make your next phone, keep that modularity option available, but just make it better, make it more useful. Make it something that people may actually use on a day-to-day to where, it's something that they actually take advantage of. A lot of people slam the G5 because of the modularity aspect, but they never really said much about the overall experience of the phone. It's like, okay, take away the modularity aspect and it wasn't really received too well. This phone still has a Snapdragon 820 processor. It still has 4 gigs of RAM. It still has 64 gigs of onboard storage. It still has great cameras. It still has really good quality, sound quality. The performance is outstanding on the G5. Nobody really talked about that, though. They only talked about the fact that it was a modular design and the phone just looked atrocious. So who cares how it looks? I understand, you spend your money on the phone, you want to look at a phone that's desirable. I get it. But LG, what about the people that thought that the phone was desirable and really loved the modularity aspect of it, like myself? We would like to have some type of modular integration with the G6. But now we can't. So for those individuals that may have a G5 that want to upgrade to the G6, but they love the modularity aspect, they love having a removable battery. If they upgrade to the G6, guess what? That means they have to completely abandon having a removable battery. They have to abandon their LG friends. Why? So it just seems like there's, so you kind of got to ask yourself, if you have a G5, but you want to upgrade to a G6, look at all the things that you're going to have to sacrifice in order to have this G6. And what I'm saying is the G6 so much better than the G5 to where it's actually worth sacrificing everything that you've gotten accustomed to with the G5? In my personal opinion, no. Because I can get rid of this G6 and everything that I can do with this G6, I'm able to do on this G5. So if I get rid of this G6, what am I missing? What? I'm missing, okay, we got the 5.7 inch display. That's cool. That's cool. But in about a week and a half, the S8, the Samsung S8 and the S8 Plus is going to be out. So I got a 5.8 inch and a 6.2 inch display that I've got to choose from. That is a little bit sexier of a phone. That has solid cameras front and back. That has that edge display. That has that AMOLED display. We all know, man, there ain't no displays out there in the market that top that display. It's got that Snapdragon 835 processor. There may not be too much of a difference between the 821 and the 835, but damn it, it's the latest. No other company has the 835 processor right now. So I feel like, in my personal opinion, since LG went Hollywood, they went conventional, they went mainstream. It's like where I sit, if I'm going to have a mainstream device, why not go with the S8 or S8 Plus? It's just offering a little more here than the LG. And that pains me to say because I love LG. And there's always been a battle with me between LG and Samsung. Okay? But like I said, before I got the 6 here, I was in T-Mobile faithfully playing with this phone. I've been in Best Buy and T-Mobile playing with the demo versions of the S8 and the S8 Plus. It's a nice phone. It's a really nice phone. I don't like the price. But damn it, as I said in other videos, you got to pay to play. Now, one of the advantages that this has over the Samsung is the fact that this is sitting at a cool $650 price point, depending on where you get it. This is the T-Mobile variant. So you can get the G6 right now at T-Mobile for $650. That may be one of the cheapest prices that you can pay for the G6. I believe at Sprint and AT&T, it's up in like the 700s and 7 something. Verizon, I think Verizon has this for $670, if I'm not mistaken. If you're the type of person to where you don't have to have the latest and the greatest, here's a G5 here for you. You can get this right now for $399. Latest I've seen it, brand new, $249.99. Why? Because this is out. $249.99. And this is fully unlocked. This is CDMA and GSM unlocked. That means that I can go to any carrier. Doesn't matter. I'm not bound to GSM and I'm not bound to CDMA with this G5 here. Now, I'm not trying to advertise, either one of these phones. I mean, this video was meant to just kind of compare and just voice my own personal thoughts and opinions. But again, am I slamming the G6? Am I saying that it's a bad phone? Am I saying that no one should get it? Of course not. It is an excellent device. I'm just saying, coming from the G5, now that I've got the G6 and doing my comparison, if I never had a G5 before, if I never had a V20 before, and I got the G6, then of course I'm going to think the world of it. You know what I mean? But I have the G5. I just recently sold my V20, which also has a big screen and that hi-fi quad DAC that just sounds amazing. The dual camera setup with the wide angle viewing. I mean, this video is being shot with my Moto Z. It's hard. It's hard right now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it looks fine, but I'm so used to having that wide angle button to where if I want to get more in the shot, I can just hit a button. I've already reached up a couple times to try to attempt to hit it, only to realize that, damn it, my G5's right here. You know what I mean? So I'm telling you, I mean, when you have these phones that have these certain functionalities, you get used to them. You know what I mean? You get used to them. The V20, it had a removable battery. I had a spare battery for that. We all know it doesn't matter how fast a phone can charge through quick charge or fast charge or whatever you want to call it. There's nothing faster than taking the battery out and popping in a fresh one. Okay? So again, now with the G6 here, with the mainstream G6 here, LG, the phone is IP68 and dust resistant. That's cool. That may be a determining factor to a lot of you guys. But for somebody like me, I could care less about that. That's not a selling point. And I live in Seattle. It's always raining. Hell, it's pouring down raining right now. I can hear the rain beating on the side of the house. But again, my phones are pristine. They're kept in cases and screen protectors. They're in my pocket or on my hip, never dropped. So I could care less about dust resistant and water resistance. That's not a selling point for me. Is it a good option? Yeah. Depending on who you are. But I don't care about that. So for me personally, I don't feel as though, the G6 has enough about it to warrant the upgrade from the G5. Like I said, had I never had a V20, had I never had the G5, and I got a G6, I'd be like, oh my God. You know what I mean? Again, I'm not saying that this is a bad phone. This is a great phone. I'm just saying, being spoiled by this G5, now that I got the G6, really playing with both of the phones and testing out the differences to see what's better about the G6 over the G5, not much. Not much at all, in my opinion. The G6 has a slightly better rear-facing camera. They both have the wide-angle lens view. Like I said, the front-facing camera, the selfie cam on the G5, to me, is way cleaner than the one on the G6. The speaker on the G5 sounds better than the speaker on the G6. My G5, I've still got the removable battery. I've got the modularity functionality. I can play with my LG friends. I don't have to sacrifice anything. If I rock with this, if you got a G5 and you want to upgrade to the G6, you're sacrificing all these things. I don't think it's worth it. So I feel like, my personal opinion, if you're going to go with the mainstream device, why not the S8? Now, if you can't afford an S8, then definitely this will be your next best option. Because like I said, this is sitting at $650. Okay. Now, I hope that a day comes where LG can really top Samsung and possibly surpass Samsung, because it seems like LG has never really been able to get over that hump with trying to match what Samsung is doing. The G6 here, it was announced, and it was the hottest commodity. It was the hottest commodity. And then Samsung, unveiled that S8 and that S8 Plus, and ever since, that's all that people talk about. Nobody's talking about this G6 anymore. And the phone's only been out a week. It's only been out a week. But I feel like because of the fact that it went mainstream, a lot of people seem to feel as though this is more of, LG is more equipped to rival the S8 now. You know, it's a pretty phone. It's a pretty phone. You can get it in the black color. You can get it in white. You can get it in platinum. But in just my personal opinion, it just doesn't. It doesn't warrant the upgrade. Not my personal opinion. Let me show you guys a little something real quick, and then we'll just kind of, you know, browse through OS. Now let's see. Let's go to front facing. Now you guys see me right there in my Moto Z. It's a little bright there just because you're looking at it through the camera lens, so it may be kind of hard to tell. But I'm going to take a quick picture. Now let's go to that. Now that picture is crystal clear. Crystal clear. And I'm going to do the same thing. I just want to give you guys an example. I think you guys can tell the difference. I'm going to go ahead and shoot this. Look at the difference, if you can tell. The G6, the zoom lens is a little closer. It's kind of hard to tell because of the glare. But the image on the G5 just looks more true to life than the image here on the G6. The G6, the color reproduction, it's washed. I mean, it's a little blurry. It's not as sharp as the G5. Even look at the color reproduction. As an example. Now, we'll swerve around to the rear facing camera and we'll just take a quick shot real quick. And that's with the wide angle. So we'll come out of wide angle. Cam Plus. Now that's a damn good picture right there. That's a damn good picture right there. I mean, that looks clean. Again, there's a glare. God, yeah, I wish this. Let me see if I can get this to focus. There we go. Still doesn't do it any justice looking at it through this camera lens. But now I'll take one with the G5 here. In regular view. And we'll go to the picture. Look at that. Two excellent photos. Now you can see that the G6's camera, it's a little bit brighter. Just by a little bit. And that actually could just do with the brightness setting that I got on both phones, because the G5, the brightness setting is at 50. No, actually no, the G6 is just a brighter. It's just a brighter. It's a brighter lens. But you guys see what I'm talking about. That rear-facing camera is a beast. Okay. Now, from a performance standpoint, really quickly. Let's see. No, I don't want to do that. I wonder why this does that. I don't know where that orange looking color is coming from. It's a little annoying. But now, from a performance standpoint, let's see. I'm gonna hit the Bible app here. Let's make sure that everything is cleared out. Okay, let's clear all that out. Okay, here we go. Both phones are connected to my Wi-Fi, same Wi-Fi. Okay, see that? Let's take the Spotify. Okay, now I'm just doing this just to kind of show you guys a difference between the 820 and the 821 and how the differences are very minor. Okay, see that? Let's go to Best Buy. Same time. Same time. All right. Let's go to Amazon. Okay. G6 took that one by a split second. eBay. What eBay talking about? Well, I think G5 took that one. Okay. What's up with GameStop? Same time. So, I mean, you know, you guys get the point, man. You know, got my carousel effect here on my G5. Carousel effect on the G6. What else can I go to? What else? Let's see. Let's go to the Play Store. Okay, you see that? Just both popped up. Let's go to the score. Sorry about that, y'all. Got disconnected real quick, but you saw that. Jay Cutler still considering retirement. He should, because he's garbage. You know, anybody out there from Chicago watching these videos, don't trip. You know it. You know Jay Cutler need to hang it up. You know what I'm saying? He ain't got it. If he had it, he ain't got it no more. Okay, let's see. Let's go to Car Gurus. G5 took that one by a split hair. Let's see. Let's go to Fandango. Okay. So the G6 took that one. So you guys get the idea. Okay. I just wanted to share my thoughts and opinions on the differences between the G5 and the G6. Now, from a performance standpoint, Snapdragon 820, Snapdragon 821. Did you see a clear difference between either one of these phones? The G5 took some of the, loaded up some of the apps a little faster. Other apps, the G6 loaded up apps a little faster. Okay? So, let me know what you guys think in the comments as to whether or not you feel, from what you've seen in this video, that upgrading to the G6 from the G5 or the V20 is justified. The V20 right now, you know, that also has, you know, a Snapdragon 820 processor, 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of storage with a GPU of 530. You know, so that phone is also a beast, and it performs just as well as these two devices here that you saw. Now, like I said, as far as pricing, you know, the G6 here at T-Mobile is $650, which I feel like that's the cheapest asking price. The G5 right here, like I said, you can get this phone fully unlocked for $399. The lowest I've seen it was $249.99. Okay. The V20 right now, I know that that's also being sold right now for $499 at Best Buy. I think it's on sale. You can get that at T-Mobile for like $408 or $480 or something like that. Great options. But I feel like, you know, LG, they took away too many things that I love about the G5, especially not to have any of the integration with the LG friends with the G6. You know, which means that if I rock solely with this phone as my daily driver, a lot of the functionality that I have on my G6, I no longer have on my G5. I'm not really a big fan of that. Is it a good phone? Yes, it is. Can I recommend it to people? Of course I can. It's a great phone. But just for me and my experience that I've had with this G5, If I rock with this alone solely, I'm having to give up removable battery, LG Friends, modular capability. You know, I'm giving up the fact that the G5 has a better, in my opinion, front-facing selfie cam. The speaker on the G5 is a little better than the speaker on the G6. You know, minor little things, but man, it's the little things that count. It is the little things that count. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you guys have either one of these phones, let me know what you think about them. Do you love them? Do you hate them? Things that you like about them? What are they? Things that you dislike? Let me know. Let's talk about it. You know? But I really think at this point, I'm probably not going to hang on to this G6 because of the fact that if I get rid of it, I still got my G5 here. You know, I feel like this phone being the new addition to this phone should have enough upgrades to where if I had it and I got exposed to it and I got rid of it, it's going to hurt. There should be things about this phone to where now that I have it, if I get rid of it, I'm just going to be like, damn, why did I do that? But since I got the G5 and it does the same thing as this, it just may not be as pretty as this. I'm not missing nothing. I'm not missing anything. Especially if I go cop a S8. You know what I'm saying? I still got the big screen with a small body. You know? And that 6.2 is a beast. That S8 Plus ain't no joke. You know? So that's probably going to be my next mainstream device. So, you know, expect to see that S8 or that Plus or maybe even both of them here on the channel. But again, you guys, you know, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you guys being patient with me. I know I can be long-winded with these videos, but I just want to get the point across. You know, I like to be specific and be as detail-oriented as possible just to give you guys all the information, you know, really give you guys some insight on what you're getting into, you know, if you're considering any of these phones that I talk about. But yeah, so you already know if you like this video, which I hope you do, hope you found it informative, like the video. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Share the video to others that may find this video useful so they can enjoy it, so they can also share it with their people. Subscribe to the channel. It helps in a major, major way. Much love to all my subscribers, everybody that's rocking with me. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, you already know, hit me up on Google+. And I'll be sure to get back in contact with you as soon as I can. You know, I try to be prompt with responding to you guys when you guys reach out to me. I love and appreciate all y'all, man, even the haters. So I'm going to close this video with my trademark. Okay? Stay safe. Definitely keep God first in your lives. Because it's clear, y'all, we're living in the last days, man. There's no doubt about that at all. Clearly living in the last days. Get right with God, y'all. Keep him first in your lives. Be spiritually fit, man. Because you never know. Tomorrow's not promised. Hell, later on today is not promised. So be mindful of that. And until the next video, stay pristine. From your man, Pristine. Yeah.